Mid-week update time. We are tightening yesterday's Seattle-heavy core, making two notable shifts while keeping our best leverage intact, and we will explain exactly why each move happens. At quarterback, we are staying with Sam Darnold as our core. The why has not changed. Dash rank 100, 18-point projection, 15 per game, and a last 3 of 30, 9 and 9 against the Patriots, who have a tough defense overall. Ownership is still about 0%, which gives us massive leverage on a ceiling that was just demonstrated. The narrative tailwind remains in our favor too. The recent coverage of Seattle's conference title and the storylines around Darnold's career reset, including the piece on him holding nothing back about his Jets and Panthers years, keeps public sentiment cautious. And we want to exploit that when the data supports the play at this salary. As a conditional pivot, we will still have Drake May exposure in correlated Patriots builds if he is cleared. He is questionable, projected 21 with 22 per game, and faces Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. Ownership sits around 0%, and news remains supportive of his big game viability, with Essentially Sports citing Kurt Warner pushing back on the idea the Patriots had an easy path and backing May's run. Keep May paired with Patriots pass catchers or kicker and avoid negative correlation with Seattle defense. At running back, no change. We are sticking with Kenneth Walker III as our feature back. The why is recent form meeting price-adjusted ceiling at low ownership. He carries a dash rank 89 with a 14-point projection and 12 per game. But the key is the last 3 of 21, 39 and 17 against the Patriots, who have a tough defense overall. Coverage this month highlighted his slow start and late-season surge, and that volatility is perfect in tournaments at about 0% ownership. He correlates with Darnold-led stacks and still works as a one-off. At wide receiver, we are moving Jackson Smith-Njigba from yesterday's priority flex into our WR1 slot and increasing our exposure. The why is overwhelming. Dash rank 100, a slate-leading 27-point projection, 23 per game, and a 3-game run of 34, 11 and 14 against the Patriots, who have a tough defense overall, all while the field sits around 0% because of the matchup. News backs the thesis that he is the engine of this passing game. Sporting News named him the 2025 Offensive Player of the Year, and he sits near the top of the non-quarterback MVP ladder per Essentially Sports. CBS Sports also spotlighted Seahawks Patriots in a Super Bowl prediction piece that underscores how central he is to Seattle's outlook. When projection, awards-level performance, and leverage align, we push. We are still keeping Cooper Kupp in the pool as our secondary WR value. He projects 9 with 7 per game and logs of 14, 11 and 5 against a Patriots team that have a tough defense overall. He remains about 0% owned and fits perfectly as a complementary stack piece with Darnold. The coverage around his Rams exit and revenge arc provides a realistic path to involvement without a heavy price tag. At tight end, no change. We are staying on A.J. Barner for correlation and salary efficiency. He holds a dash rank 100 with an 8-point projection and recent logs of 3, 0 and 3 against a Patriots team that have a tough defense overall. At about 0% ownership, we are buying red zone variants at a fair tag in lineups built around Darnold and Seattle onslaughts. Flex is our first notable change from yesterday. We are elevating Hunter Henry into the flex as a contrarian bringback in Patriots leaning or balanced builds. The why is simple leverage and price. Dash rank 100, a 10-point projection, 11 per game with recent outputs of 3, 2, and 15. And he draws Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. He is about 0% owned, and at 7,000, he gives us cap relief to keep JSN and Walker together. The Sportsline projection model recently featured Henry among its tight end prop targets, which supports the thesis that market models see a viable path for production if New England attacks the seams or condenses targets in the red zone. At kicker, no change. We remain on Jason Myers. He projects 11 with recent outputs of 7, 11, and 8 against the Patriots, who have a tough defense overall. This is a clean correlation with our Seattle builds when we expect drives to move, but stall more often in the low red zone. Ownership is around 0%, and multiple features this week have reminded the market he is among the most reliable and well-compensated kickers. Defense is our second change. We are elevating the Patriots' defense as our default in Patriots-led or neutral builds, while keeping Seahawks' defense only in Darnold stacks. The why is recent scoring stability and leverage. New England brings a dash rank 58 with a 6-point projection and logs of 12, 7, and 5, facing Seattle, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. The caution here is correlation. Do not pair Patriots defense with Darnold. If you are building around May or betting on a lower-scoring script, Patriots defense at negligible ownership creates strong leverage. If you stay Seattle-heavy with Darnold, stay with Seahawks defense for correlation. Quick value corner to round it out and reflect the tweaks with today's news. Drake May remains our conditional quarterback value if cleared. He is questionable, projects 21, and faces Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. Keep him stacked and avoid opposing defense. Ramondre Stevenson is viable as a contrarian bringback. He projects 16 with 13 per game, and logs of 7, 12, and 16 against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. Earlier in the week, a doctor's update after Mike Vrabel's injury announcement kept uncertainty in the market. With ownership still around 0%, monitor status, but consider him in lineups that need Pat's pass game equity and touchdown access. Cooper Kupp stays a salary-friendly WR in Darnold stacks. Narrative and recent usage make sense at low ownership. Eric Saubert is a near-a-min punt tight end, strictly for unique constructions. You are buying roots and salary flexibility, not projection. Andy Borregales is the kicker pivot in Patriots-led builds. He projects 9 with recent outputs of 4, 4, and 10 against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. Rookie season features citing 126 points and an 86.7% rate support the accuracy bet in a game where Seattle could stiffen in the red area. The Seahawks value flex at 4,400 is a site-dependent salary saver, only if your rules allow team slots in the flex. At a 5-point projection and facing New England, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, it is strictly for extreme salary relief in 5-1 Seattle builds. To recap the changes from yesterday and the why behind them, we keep Sam Darnold as the core quarterback for price-adjusted ceiling and leverage, with conditional Drake May if cleared. We stick with Kenneth Walker III because the recent ceiling and correlation still outweigh the matchup. We upgrade Jackson Smith-Njigba from our flex to WR1 due to his slate-best projection and award-backed season. We hold A.J. Barner at tight end for correlation and price. We move flex to Hunter Henry as a contrarian, bringback with model support and cap relief. We keep Jason Myers for red zone stall correlation. And we elevate Patriots defense in May or neutral builds while reserving Seahawks defense only for Darnold stacks. That is how we turn tough defenses overall into leverage, using the most relevant data and this week's reporting, from JSN's Offensive Player of the Year, coverage, and MVP ladder buzz to Darnold's narrative reset, Henry's inclusion in Sportsline's TE props, and the ongoing Patriots discourse around May.